Unit 1 of the grade 11. It is the most important lesson, right? What is the Unit 1 of the grade 11? The Unit 1 of the grade 11 is living tissue. Unit 1 of the grade 11 is living tissue, right? Under this topic, you have to learn about firstly you have to learn about what is meant by tissue. What is meant by tissue, and then right now when we consider about the tissues can be divided into the mainly two parts. Tissues can be divided into the mainly two parts. What are they? Animal tissues and plant tissues. Animal tissues and plant tissues, right? Under the first we have to learn about the plant tissues. Plant tissues can be divided into the two groups. What are they? Meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Right now, when we consider about the meristematic tissues, you have to learn about what is meant by the meristematic tissue. What is meant by the meristematic tissues and what are the types of the meristematic tissue. Right. Let's go to learn about what is the meristematic tissues and what are the features of the meristematic tissues and what are the types and their features of the meristematic tissue. Right, let's go to today our lessons. Right, living tissue. Living tissues is the unit 1 of the grade 11. Unit 1 of the grade 11. Right, under this topic first we have to learn about the plant tissues. Plant tissues, right? In before I have told you tissues mainly there are two types, plant tissues and animal tissues. Right now we are going to learn about what is the plant tissues and what are the types of the plant tissues. Right now when we consider about the plant tissues mainly there are two types. One of them is meristematic tissues, the another one is permanent tissues. Right now when we consider about the plant tissue mainly there are two types, meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Right, let's go to learn about what is the meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues mean the tissues with cells that divide actively. The tissues with cells that divide actively by mitosis. Mitosis in the grade 10 you have learned about the two types of the cell division. No, one of them is the meiosis, the another one is mitosis. Mitosis mainly occur through the growth of the plants and animals body. Right, tissues, meristematic tissues mean the tissues with cells that divide actively by mitosis to produce new cells. By mitosis to produce new cells are called meristematic tissues. Right now we have learned about what is the meristematic tissues. What is the meristematic tissues? Meristematic tissues mean the tissues with cells that divide actively by mitosis to produce new cells are called meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues. These cells, it means meristematic cells, are not differentiated. It means all the cells contained in the meristematic tissues are same. All the cells contained in the meristematic tissues are same. Right, next point. The growth of plant take place due to activity of meristematic tissues. Right now we know plant is a living things. It has the characteristics of the growth. The growth of plant take place. The growth of plants take place due to activity of meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue. Next point. This tissue consists of small sized living cells. Small sized living cells. Now when we consider about the meristematic tissue consists of small sized living cells. Next one. No intercellular space or intercellular spaces are not prominent. Now when we consider about the meristematic tissue, there is not a intercellular space between the cells. If not, intercellular spaces are not prominent. Right. Next one, there is a distinct nucleus in each cells. Right. Each cells contain the nucleus. Each cells contain the nucleus. Right. Next point, absence of large central vacuoles but small vacuoles may be present. Right. In the grade 10 we have learnt about the plant cells. No? In the plant cells we have discussed about there is a large central vacuoles, but now when we consider about the meristematic tissues, absence of large central vacuoles, but small vacuoles may be present, Next one, large number of mitochondria are present. Why is that? In the meristematic tissues, large number of mitochondria are present. What is the function of the mitochondria? The function of the mitochondria is producing energy needed for the cells. Right. Meristematic tissues have actively cell division. Meristematic tissues have active cell division. For this, more energy is needed. To produce the more energy needed for the meristematic tissues, large number of mitochondria are present. Right. Next point, there are three types. Now when we consider about the meristematic tissues mainly there are three types. Right. Then we will go to learn about what are the three types of the meristematic tissue. Right. First one is apical meristem. The second one is intercalamerystem. So what is the third one? The third one is lateral meristem. Right now we have learned about the types of the meristematic tissue. The first type of the meristematic tissue is apical meristem. The another one is intercalamerystem. The next one is lateral meristem. Right now we have learnt about some features about the meristematic tissues. Right. Then we will go to learn about what is the apical meristem. Right. The apical meristem mean apical meristem are found in. Right now we will learn about what is the places that apical meristems can be found. First one is shoot apex. Next one, root apex. Axillary buds are the places of the apical meristem can be seen. Next one, plant increase its height due to activity of this tissue. The function of the apical meristem is increase the height of the plant. If not due to activity of the apical meristem, plant increase its height. Right. Then we will go to intercalamerystem. Another types of the meristematic tissue is intercalamerystem. Right. Intercalamerystem are found at nodes. Right. The length of internodes increase due to the activity of the above tissues. So what is the function of the meristematic intercalamerystem? The function of the intercalamerystem is the length of internode increase. Due to the activity of the above tissues. They are found in plants in grass family. Right. The intercalamerystem tissues mostly can be found in the plant of grass family. Right. In the grass family plants there are nodes. The length of the internodes increase due to the activity of the intercalamerystem. Right. Then we will go to learn about lateral meristem. Right. Lateral meristems are found present laterally in the stem and roots of plant. Lateral meristem are present laterally in the stem and roots of plants. They are found parallel to the longitudinal axis of plant. Lateral meristems are found parallel to the longitudinal axis of plant. Parallel to the longitudinal axis of the plants. The diameter of the plant increase due to the activity of this tissue. The function of the lateral meristem is increase the diameter of the plant. The diameter of the plant increases due to the activity of this tissue. The diameter of the plant increases due to the activity of this tissue. Right? Cambium tissue found in dicot is a lateral meristematic tissues. Lateral meristematic tissues. Right now we have learnt about what is meant by tissues, and then tissues we have divided into the two groups, plant tissues and animal tissues. After that we have discussed about the plant tissues. Under the plant tissues mainly we have divided into the two groups. What are they? Meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. After that today we have discussed about the meristematic tissues. Under the meristematic tissues we have learnt about meristematic tissues. Mainly there are three types: apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. Now we have learned about the living tissues. Under the living tissues, firstly we have learned about what is meant by tissues. Tissues mean groups of cells, group of cells that participate to common for the common function, if not common forces, is known as the tissues. And then tissues we have divided into the two groups. No, what are they? Plant tissues and the animal tissues. Plant tissues and the animal tissues. Right now when we consider about the plant tissues mainly there are two types. What are they? Meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Right? Today in my video we have discussed about the meristematic tissues. Under the meristematic tissues we have learned about meristematic tissues. Mainly there are three types: apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. Right? In my next video of the grade 11 I will explain what is the permanent tissues. What is the permanent tissues. Right? Have a nice day.